Awesome. Yeah, let me start from the beginning. So, the Crypto Subscription is a podcast where we invite guests from businesses and communities with subscription business model, trying to understand better what is unique about their business, why people are following them, why are staying with them, how do they make people stay and be loyal to their community and to their businesses and understand better the business model that is under the hood. Uh, and I want to introduce a guest. It is Robin from AltCoin Edge. It's our greatest friends, and they have Ace community, which provide an alpha for their private community members and help them to dig into all the things Web3 first, and and generate more yield and be the first one to have all the knowledge on the market. So yeah, Robin, please introduce yourself and your role at AltCoin Edge.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks for that introduction. Indeed, like with AltCoin Edge currently, like it's interesting. Like when we got into Web3, we started as a YouTube channel, and that's why then we still run with the name AltCoin Edge. It was a great name for a YouTube channel, and what we did in that was we created content around crypto or Web3 projects that were early stage. Most of them were going towards a public sale. And that was very interesting for a specific type of audience, and that's the retail user really of crypto that are looking for investment opportunities. So while we were on that journey, we got in touch with a lot of projects doing our research. That gave us a very good understanding of like the market, the crypto market. We got a lot of feedback from like projects that were saying like, wow, your community is great. We struggle with community growth and maybe social growth in general. And then we spoke to a couple of VCs that kind of voiced the same kind of challenge, like community growth, getting traction. And we were able with our YouTube channel to grow to 10K subscribers in a year. And we were growing our own community around the content pieces that we did. So we started thinking, oh, maybe we can help actually projects in this space out there. So we started shifting focus from solely content to supporting projects, building their communities, also like mentoring them on how to get that traction in Web3. But we never really forgot how we got there. And how we got there was actually by building our own community. So while we were kind of now becoming a Web3 marketing agency, we wanted to do things for the community. And when we were YouTubers, the thing that we were looking at initially was maybe setting up a Patreon. And Patreon is basically a subscription membership that a lot of YouTubers use to add value to the community, like more in a more exclusive way. So usually that would mean, sending some videos even before it is listed on YouTube. Maybe doing some kind of deeper research into specific topics. Perhaps if there's a topic that might be deboosted as like public kind of, in the public space as a topic. For instance, I remember you couldn't really talk about COVID during COVID time on YouTube because they were just deboosting that content for the risk of like misinformation. So, YouTubers were using a sort of subscription style membership community already in the Web2 world. And we never got to a Patreon when we were very active because we didn't feel like it was very Web3. Most of our community members were just very interested in using crypto. So then when I saw what Yoki was doing, we actually just started on a journey where we were going to create a membership platform for the crypto users. but we still had this issue where, you know, they only could pay with traditional methods. So what we started to looking into is, you know, how can we actually accept crypto for this kind of membership platform? And when I saw Yoki, I was like really impressed because I thought, oh my God, you know, this is exactly what we kind of need. Because now, currently, we're offering a private community which you can join, and you can pay either with crypto subscription, or you can, you know, use your regular payment methods. So like, yeah, it's amazing because um, I think, especially if you're in this space, um, allowing people to be able to you know to pay for things or to use things in a natural way, like what they're used to, that's the best thing. And very often, like the value we bring to the community could make them kind of money in crypto, right? So it makes it more of a I would say like a smoother user journey, but also it makes a bit more sense. Like if they made some money in crypto and they want to join the community, then obviously they want to use crypto. So what do we do with our membership um, platform? Like we provide value, like in the same way that we did research with YouTube content. We just dive deeper into things. We share more things. We make ourselves more accessible to our community, right? But yeah, we also always try to innovate because we're quite early in this kind of journey as well. Um, yeah, there's a bit of a long introduction there, Konstantin, but like happy to know your thoughts about it.
Yeah, thanks for the great feedback about Yoki and about the process of integration. You have you have already answered a couple of questions that I had. But you have mentioned, or maybe I have missed that. What is your role at AltCoin Edge and the ACE community?
Yeah, we're um, basically AltCoin Edge. Like as an agency, we have three founders. It's Zach, Ian, and myself. And within that community, our role is really to bring opportunities to the community, right? And that could be in a way of delivering alpha, right? Like, look, we've seen this opportunity here.
Yeah.
It could also be in a way of doing some research. Like we do a lot of research reports, but it also could be investment opportunities. So, you know, what I started doing is investment opportunities that come our way, and because we're now kind of more, I would say, in this within the industry, as we're serving projects with marketing activities, and we were connecting with a lot of VCs. What happens is, you know, sometimes investment opportunities come our way, and what we always try to do is find a way how we can feed that back to the community, because like what we kind of you know, what we kind of had for value when we were producing our YouTube content was like we wanted to bring early opportunities to retail, right? Whether it's a public sale, whether it's an ICO. And the reason for that is we believe that if you find a promising project, you know, and you're early on, you're putting yourself in the best position. So, you know, and that's what we try to do when we think of investment opportunities for the community. We try to get them in those opportunities as early as we can, right? And if we can do that earlier than that they normally would be exposed to it, then obviously we do a really great job. So that's kind of our view on that. So I would say our roles are, we all do whatever we are best in, basically. So, you know, Ian is very good at tokenomics and, you know, understands very well how to value projects. Like Zach is really good in the technical aspect. You know, I would say myself, you know, I'm quite, I've got a quite good eye of business and how also certain specific niches might be valuable or not. So we just bring that all together, and whatever we can find, we produce as value to the community. The busier we get with like the agency side of things, so helping projects, sometimes it becomes like harder for us to constantly deliver on opportunities for our community. So, we are always looking for creative ways how we can still, keep that pace going. I hope that answers your question, Constant.
Yeah, maybe you could share some examples of early alpha that you have shared with your community. So our listeners would be eager to jump into your private subscription and join it.
Yeah. So yeah, like if I think of, for instance, and a lot of alpha is already shared in our like free community, because it's not only us, it's also the community itself, right? And that's the nice thing about Web3. The community can bring whatever alpha opportunities to be looked at. But one of the things before, because if you think about, okay, what has been successful, kind of, there's a coin, for instance, out of zero, and I remember that we shared a whitelist opportunity for that, for their ICO, in our group, and you could buy that token for 10 cents back then. And the only thing you had to do is, click on the form, fill in your details, and they were offered an allocation in it. And a lot of community members still thank us for that, because I don't know what it's trading at currently, but it's probably around above the $1. So they at least made a 10x from that. But at some point it was $3, right? So they could have made a 30x from it, for instance. So that's one. Another thing is where we, as content creators, might produce a video for a project, and that project wants to thank us and offers us, for instance, an whitelist allocation that we then can share with the communities, with our community. So very often it's like very exclusive opportunities to get into a sale. Recently, what I also started doing is I'm in a syndicate of Web3 founders, and they offer kind of investment opportunities that are quite bigger in scale. So, I don't always feel like investing a few K in a project. So, I offer it to our most valuable community members to just pull in, for instance. So yeah, there's some creative ways where, as a retailer, you can get exposure into opportunities that you normally wouldn't find. So it could be investment. It could also be alpha that is just shared. Anything really. Research reports. If you're in a community, in our private community, what we allow as well is you can just tell us, I would love you to look into this specific project. Normally, we wouldn't be able to do that, because everyone would ask us, okay, can you look into this? Can you look into that? And that's the power of this like subscription style membership. Now it makes a lot of sense for us to do that. So, our paid community members, they can just reach out to us and say, can you look into this? And we will just build a deep dive report. And that can be very valuable, because like if you're thinking of, I want to invest in this, but I'm not really sure, I want to have some second opinion, who's going to give you a very detailed opinion? Normally no one. So yeah.
You have mentioned like three different business models, which you have, step by step switched into. So the first one was that you were the YouTube channel, you were the content producers. After that, you became a marketing agency, but still you have your YouTube channel. And after that, you switched to a private community that is providing like a private research. So you have three different business models. They are all still in place. What if you could tell, I'm I'm not sure. Maybe it's a private information, but which direction works the better for you currently in terms of revenue generation?
No, that's a valid question. Like the marketing agency is more stable, because it's a service agency, right? And the service that we deliver is substantial. But at the same time, the in the bull market, being an influencer can be very lucrative. In the bear market, I would say not as much, but in the bull market, it can be, right? Because if you're an influencer and you're getting paid opportunities for specific crypto tokens projects that are actually doing quite well, you could do really well from it. So the membership is actually something that is not making much money at the moment, and it's not really, we didn't do it to make money, but like the way we look at it is, all these things work together, right, and form a very strong bond. So they also, I would say, support each other in a way. So, for instance, as an agency, as a marketing agency, right, we might start with marketing services, but it can be that a project actually has a challenge that has to do with fundraising or whatever, right? So if we are in that area experts as well, then we can connect them to the right people. And with community building, what we do with our agency as well, it could be that we actually need to find specific type of users, right? Or we need to get some kind of market insights. Our community is perfect for that. So what we try to do with the subscription side of our community is the problem if you have a free community is that you don't really know who are your very core community members most of the time, and also you don't really have kind of enough metrics to say, okay, this is exactly the value of a community. But now what we have is we have like a transactional relationship with a lot of our community members, and it solidifies the power of our community. There are people in our community that are in our members club now that I hadn't spoken to before for a long time, and I actually see them being active, invested in our community. And if we didn't had set it up in this way, we would never have known that they were invested in our community. Because the reality is, not everyone is, hyper active in a group chat. Some people are just lurking; they're just watching what's going on, but actually they're really engaged, but you just don't see it. So once you start attaching like a transactional relationship to it, you start understanding better like how your community is built up. So, it's quite interesting. The only, I would say, of those three pillars, business that we really saw as, okay, this is going to be, I would say, a revenue driver, would have been the agency. Like, we didn't start creating content with the idea we want to make money of it. Exactly not. Like, we were just starting with YouTube content because we were looking ourselves for investment in early stage projects, and we just didn't find great content because most of the content back then was, this coin is going to 100x, this is going to get you a Lambo, one token. And that was not what we were looking for. So we started producing content and around things that, in the way that we would look for what we were looking for in content. So that's quite interesting. And then, opportunities arose from that, basically. So that's why.
This space was downloaded via spacesdown.com. Visit to download your spaces today.
Yeah, like in the end, it's really about, are you serving, a gap in the market, I think. And we had it with the content side, and then we figured it out. There was also a gap in the community and traction side, and then obviously I think with our memberships club, there's a gap about opportunities or better, deeper connection and care with those crypto communities.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. When you have the membership community, you would much better understand who is your community, who are the people, and understanding that. How could you describe the portrait of your typical community member? Who are these people?
Yeah, well, when you see if you join our free community, you will see a lot of shares around ICOs and airdrop opportunities, right? So I would say that typical user is looking for interesting crypto opportunities. And then in our paid group, it's kind of the same, but they're less searching for these airdrop free type of activities. They're more willing to basically know what is a good opportunity and actually maybe invest in that directly, right? Instead of maybe doing all these kinds of different free things to then eventually get something for free. So that's what you usually see. And I think with most of the kind of paid subscription memberships, that's kind of the case. The people that are invested in it with a paid subscription, they're usually looking for more straightforward info, right? And often they don't have as much time on their hands, right? So they just want to be there, get the value delivered, and know it's valuable. And it's more valuable than something they will find in a free community. Because in a free community, you just don't know, because anyone can share stuff in a free community, for instance. So yeah, that's kind of the typical portrait, I would say. But everyone really is just looking to be, I would say, successful in the crypto cycle, basically.
And one of the things that a lot of the communities are centered around is about airdrops. What do you think about this kind of strategies? Do you provide any research on that? So what is generally your opinion about airdrop hunting?
Yeah, like obviously, I mean, it's I think when there's no airdrops, an airdrop is valuable. When there are a lot of airdrops, usually the value is diluted, right? When Uniswap did an airdrop, no one knew about it, and then it happened, and then everyone was like, "Whoa, what is this?" And the the kind of the I would say the goal, the aim, the purpose of Uniswap was not to grow a community or so. So what you see now is people are using airdrops to really grow their awareness, which is fine. But I would just be aware as like a user, like you can't expect a lot from all of these things. So the way I look at airdrops is, how much time am I investing in it? How many people are actually participating in this? And what is behind this thing? Like, what kind of project is behind it? And then understand as well, like, how would the project look at this? And for instance, if you've got a DeFi protocol that has like great backing, a great product that it's going to be something that's going to be there for a while, and you notice that it's maybe a bit more expensive to participate in this airdrop, but there's less users. There's signs of that there's a higher TVL already. Yeah, then that could be a very interesting airdrop opportunity. But if it's like a very common Web3 gaming product that doesn't look any different than any other product, that do a massive airdrop campaign where there are thousands and thousands of users, you have to understand where eventually is that airdrop money coming from, and is there a way of the project to increase the value of that, right? So yeah, there's a lot of considerations when it comes to airdrop. I'm not against it. airdrops. It's also something that if we work with projects, we would offer it, right? So if you want to do a token farm, we have a solution for that. For instance, and we would and this is the way we work with. Like we would explain it as if we do research. This is these are the options. These are the plus sides. These are the downsides. This is what you're looking at. This is what you will achieve. And if you want that, then definitely 100% go for it, right? But if you think like, I'm actually looking for slightly different outcomes, then yeah, you might actually maybe not want to do an airdrop, for instance.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. And what I love about that airdrop meta is that it brings a lot of people from outside and a lot of the attention because the headlines about that crazy amounts of money pouring into markets, and people start wondering what is going on, why there is like a helicopter money flying around in the space. And when they jump into that airdrops, they have to understand better the infrastructure that they have to use in the space. So they first they come for free money, but then they understand the benefits of Web3 and all of that. So generally for the industry, maybe short term, it brings users that are interested only in the free stuff. But generally, in the longer run, when they start using that, the adoption is growing enormously by all of that activities.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like it's like, you need to get some awareness around your crypto project, right? And there's different ways of doing it, and airdrop is one of the ways of doing it. And the token farm meta has been proven to be a very great way to get traction on Twitter. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with that at all, I think. And it's just as a user, you just have to understand that, like what historically has happened is not always a guarantee for the next one, right? So if you see that some guy got like $1,000 in an airdrop, doesn't mean that all airdrops will give you $1,000. So
yeah,
that's the thing is.
You have different tiers of access to your community. Could you tell more about what people get in the different ones?
Yeah, for sure. Like we have 3 tiers. One is a free tier, and that tier you can actually claim an NFT, and you will get everything you get in our free community. Plus, is basically an NFT. What that will allow is, I talked about how we wanted to solidify the community. So that NFT gives us a very good indicator of, okay, this is a community member, right? And here is a wallet address attached. So what we can do then is, like, let's say we get an opportunity that arrives us, and it doesn't have to be an investment opportunity. This can simply be, okay, we want to do an AMA with your community. Here's something for your community. We could then airdrop it into these wallets, or we could whitelist addresses for a whitelist opportunity, for instance. That's the sole reason of the free NFT and the free tier. Then we have a tier where you pay $27 a month. So the idea there is, okay, it's a light subscription model, and with this, you get a lot of benefits that you wouldn't get in a free community. So access to us, access to a private Discord, private Telegram. We do deep dive reports. We share any investment opportunities that we have with this group, and you can also do some requests. But then we also have like a high value tier, which is almost $200 a month, and in that tier you get like dedicated calls with us if you want. We would basically be your concierge, if that makes sense. So to have those options, I think, is very important when you do a subscription membership with a community, because for some people free is what they're looking for. For others it's just some light thing. But then within that group, you might have people that actually want to upgrade. They want more, and you have to offer them more, right? So, usually you would see that most will be in the middle tier. But yeah, like there might be a couple of people out there that want to do the higher tier because they need it. And the nice thing with like a monthly subscription, I would say, is you could try it out for a month or so. So you could do the lowest paid tier, for instance. And if you think I want more, you could try out the high tier for a month. And if you think, okay, this is great, you can stay on it, but you then know what you get for it as well. So yeah, like that's how we've set it up. So the higher, the more you get from us, basically.
Yeah, I was speaking during my microphone being muted. Yeah, so and do you issue the NFT for the paid members also?
Yeah, they have a different NFT. So it's very funny. The free one is like a very young Einstein NFT, right? Einstein when he was a little kid. Then the pay tier is Einstein in green. Like it has like a green glow because it represents kind of the green candles, the making positive returns in the markets, and then the highest paid one is a gold one, which represents VIP level kind of thing.
Yeah, that's nice. As you know, the podcast is about subscription. I would like to understand better what is generally the lifetime of your community members, and what are your retention strategies? What do you make? What do you do to make sure that people stay with you for a longer time?
Yeah. I actually before I got into Web3, I used to be senior CRM manager, so I know a lot about retention and stuff. However, like we haven't started that long ago, so we have people on a yearly subscription, so they're with us for at least 12 months, and then I would say from the ones that take the monthly subscription, around probably 80% is still with us. So maybe 1 out of 5 dropped off earlier, and it was quite funny because like I messaged the persons that dropped out, and they usually had like a valid reason. Valid reason. I would say it was usually not because they thought it was not valuable enough to be a member. So that's interesting, but also I think that is a way of as well to retain people because they might come back, right? And I think one of the strategies would definitely be to always ask how things are going, if they're happy, if they're leaving, be friendly with them. When someone joins, we always send a private welcome message and stuff. So checking in with your community like you normally maybe also would do is really important. And then I think the other strategy that we really have is trying to bring more and more valuable things to the community. So when we what I usually do is I review previous months and see what we delivered, and then I would try to make it better, to deliver more. And this is just in the I think maybe the earlier stages to do it in that way, because at some point you will reach like, wow, this is the maximum value we can deliver. But that's the way I look at it. I think on the acquisition side, like we could do a little bit more. We're not very aggressive, and that's maybe because we're still trying to add more and more value. But like so. It will change because what will happen, like some of the opportunities in our membership club are investment opportunities. So when that kind of, becomes liquid and start to become something, people will start talking about it. So I think if you deliver value, there will be word of mouth, right? So, and that will do your marketing for you. But yeah, apart from that, like on the acquisition side, I think we could do more by showing exactly what kind of value we're delivering.
So is your acquisition funnel currently like people watching YouTube, watching your content, then joining the community, and then by understanding that you share high quality data for free, but you have much better and more focused research and analytics, and having an opportunity to connect with you directly, they're jumping in the private group. Is that right?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Like that's the most optimal funnel. That's how we were looking at it initially. Like we should have, when we were very active at YouTube, like we grew our Telegram to I think over 4K. Like we should have had this exact funnel. However, what we actually have been doing is we've taken things slower, and because we have already quite a substantial free community, we tapped into that first, right, and convert people from existing, and then what you just touched on. That is the second kind of funnel that will happen, is where we start producing content. Pardon. And then, people will like it, and then they just want more, right? That's it.
Yeah, I have been following your Twitter account for a while, and you always have some partnerships going on, and a lot of them has happened recently. Which ones you would like to share with our listeners? Maybe the most interesting ones.
Well, this may be some little alpha on it, I guess. Like, yeah, what you see on our Twitter is we've been sharing quite some projects recently because we kind of worked with them in one way or another, and they're all kind of very interesting. So there's I'll just name a few. Like this Drosera. They're in the security area, and they're very well backed, I would say, and they're doing something very interesting there, and it's very early. So if you like, here's an alpha tip. Like if you just see what we sometimes share, you can find alpha basically, right? Then yesterday I did an AMA on Twitter Spaces with a Gamblify project. I knew the guys for a while and stuff, and they were looking at some more exposure opportunities. I said, let's do an AMA, and I'm quite knowledgeable in that area. I know the guys, so it was quite a nice Twitter space. And but they're doing a token farm, and I wanted to chat about it with them, and it was really interesting because during that conversation, I started to understand that they were kind of doing all the things right, I would say, to make sure that the token will have like a good listing journey, and I liked that about them. Yeah, there's a few more. Endemic is a AI art curated marketplace. They will have an airdrop campaign quite soon too. So, that could be even early alpha. Then there's PopX. I actually host their Twitter Spaces every Thursday evening, and that it's a project that is founded by musicians, songwriters. They were quite successful, and very soon they're launching a very unique NFT with Animoca brands. They're probably going to announce it in the next 2 weeks and stuff. But like this is another thing. Is like because we work with these type of projects, like when things happen like whitelist or maybe a private sale or something, it's something we can share with our community. So, our community kind of, I would say, taps into our opportunities. And that's quite, I really love that, yeah.
Yeah, before I dive deeper into the last question, jump to it, maybe there are some questions from the listeners today. If you have questions, please feel free to request to speak, and I will invite you on stage. No questions is always good. That means that everything was clear already.
Yeah, or everyone fell asleep. It's either or.
Yeah. So yeah, my final question is: what plans do you have for the near future, midterm, and long term? What are your goals?
Yeah, like in the short term, we're gonna add more research reports. There's a few things I'm I'm having in mind to start building. For instance, meme coins is something that usually we would quite ignore for research and stuff, but it starts becoming interesting because people are making money, but there are also a lot of pitfalls. So you have like opportunity versus risks, and I think that could people want to know what to look for, and I think I'm going to start working on something around that. We will do some more other research reports. Then in the midterm, we are going to probably bring more investment opportunities to our community. And also what I want to do is I want to drop some valuable things in the wallets of our community members. So I'm playing around with some ideas. Like before, I thought like, okay, maybe I can do some kind of investment challenge with the team, and then the proceeds we would then drop into our community or so, like making it like a very engaging activity. One thing is what we did recently, which is also kind of midterm. I think we'll see more is we might get opportunities as KOLs to invest in projects, and those opportunities, are usually slightly better than, for instance, a public sale or so. And we are happy to share in that with our community. So we could do, for instance, KOL work and allow the community to invest in it as well, instead of just ourselves. So that's midterm. And then long term, I would guess we will make more content. So then that initial funnel that you spoke about will be activated, and that will grow the community. So in the short and midterm, we're looking at adding value to the community. Long term, expanding the funnel basically to grow the community. That's how I see it happen.
Yeah, guys, listening, there is alpha dropped here about the value that will be distributed for the community members. So you still have time to join before this happens.
Yeah, like sometimes I'm thinking of maybe closing the community and then only open it up certain times a year. Sometimes I think about that concept because you've seen it. I've seen it happening with certain crypto projects where you can only join their community when they open the doors, basically for a limited time, and like you never know. Maybe we'll do that at some point.
Sounds interesting. Yeah, and I was thinking about the content on how people could subscribe to AltCoin Edge using the crypto subscriptions. I think it would be something valuable. So let's think about that and collaborate on that as well.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I think what you guys are building is very interesting, and I also think it might open up some new use cases in the future as well. But yeah, if you want to join our community, I think there's a giveaway. Is that still running, Konstantin?
Yeah, it's still running until the Monday.
Okay, so you've got this weekend. Definitely participate in that giveaway. You can get like a month free of our subscription, and it also will show you, I think, where you can join the platform with crypto payments.
Yeah, absolutely, and there have been not so many participants. It's about 30 people, so you still have almost how much is it? A 10% chance to win a subscription, which I think is great opportunity.
Yeah, that's the way to look at airdrops.
Yeah, so true, so true. So in a way, it's an airdrop as well.
Cool.
Yeah, so I think we're running out of time, so it's time to wrap it up. Thank you so much, Robin, for joining and spilling so much alpha here and information about your community and plans, etc. I think you're doing a great job. I'm a big fan of your channel. I was happy to have a partnership with you guys. And yeah, if you have any last words, you can use that opportunity.
Yeah, thanks so much for setting us up, and I love this conversation. I actually think we should do a follow up maybe 6 months from now or so, and see if things have changed. And because like this market is moving so fast, right? And maybe I can also share some of the wins that our community has faced. Them.
Yeah, 6 months in crypto is 6 years outside.
Yeah, exactly. All right, man. Thanks a lot for having me.
Yeah, likewise. Have a great day.
Ciao.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
This space was downloaded via spacesdown.com. Visit to download your spaces today.